The woods that we find ourselves in this night are bare, with not a single leaf on any branch, nor bird other than ravens cawing into the night. They are so thick and knotted that even our ranger has trouble seeing through them more than half a league ahead. The dead, gnarled branches twist above us, letting only small strips of silver light in from the full moon above. But even this bit of light is swiftly snuffed out by dark clouds that seem to follow us everywhere. All around me, the sullen faces of my adventuring party are so dark that they threaten to snuff out the fire. And even with the campfire's warm glow, the chill of the mists clings to our bodies and seeps its way into our bones. Barovia is every bit as dreadful a place as I've heard. We've only been here a week, and we've already had to deal with packs of rabid wolves, mobs of madmen and mutants, and no shortage of malevolent spirits, all the while cloaked in darkness. I shiver and move closer to the fire, silently cursing those Visani cronies for letting us to Barovia. Cornelius, a young chap we hired to carry our things for us, ran off on our first night here. He ran back the way we came, through the mists and the Barovian gates. We couldn't see him, but we could hear him scream. Growling, then a wet crunch, and Cornelius's decapitated head came rolling out of the mists. As I think on that, I feel a fresh chill in my bones and try to put my mind towards more pleasant thoughts. They are few and far between in this cursed place, but we did strike an easy deal on the new magical item. In the village of Kretsk, there was an old woman who sold us a bag of holding for just 5 measly silver pieces. I could hardly believe our luck. On any other day I would have asked questions, but once we confirmed it was a real bag of holding, I decided not to look the gift horse in the mouth. Besides, with Cornelius gone, we needed a way to carry our supplies without being slowed down, and this was far cheaper than a horse or mule. Bellius, a pious man and cleric of the highest order, was one to carry it first. But last night he thrust it into my hands and demanded that I carry it for now. Whenever I asked him about it, he'd just go quiet and shake his head. I didn't argue. Morale is low enough as it is. Desperate to break the silence of camp with something other than ravens, I cast my gaze towards Bellius, he and I being the only ones awake at the moment. I try to make my voice more jovial, but it comes out hollow. Bellius, you never did say why you wanted me to hold the magic bag. Perhaps it is just too heavy for you. Those jokes always got a smile or eye roll out of the old cleric, but not this time. He just looked between me and the bag, like I was holding a severed head or demonic idol. Finally he speaks. There is something wrong with that bag. I raise an eyebrow. No, I do not think so. It works just fine. All our stuff is in there right now. Bellius shakes his head. No. The feeling I get when I use it or look inside it, it reminds me of when I was a child and heard stories of the Bagman. I stop and let out an amused huff. The Bagman. Bellius, that is just an urban legend. I raise my hands in a gesture of a storyteller trying to scare a child. Beware the Bagman, the adventurer who cowardly escaped his death by hiding within a bag of holding. Only he could not find his way out of that extra-dimensional space, and so was cursed to be a monstrous creature, forever lost and alone in the dark realm between realms. And every night he emerges from a random bag of holding to drag some unsuspecting victim down into that space with him, leaving behind only a trinket from its hidden kingdom, something close to the person it snatched away. They say you can draw the Bagman to you if you speak into the bag of holding. I lifted up the magic bag to my lips and mockingly said, "Follow my voice. Follow my voice." Then I dropped the bag with a light laugh. Bellius did not share my humors. His eyes were wide and his face was white. The grip on his prayer book was so tight I was worried he would launch it at my head or beat me with it. I realized that maybe the Barovian wilderness is not the best place for bedtime stories. As a means to apologize, I offered to take first watch. The cleric just wordlessly turns his back to me, laying on the cot. As my watch goes on, I look from the fire to the bag of holding, and feel my skin crawl. Telling myself it was just this God's forsaken land getting to me, I opened the bag and reached in for a bottle of wine. A drink should calm my nerves, and this wine we got from the vineyard that was under attack by plant monsters is supposedly the best in the land. As I grab the bottleneck in the bag, I feel something cold brush itself against my fingers. I pull the wine out of the bag, drop the magic sack, and brandish the bottle like a club in one swift motion. But all I could see was the pitch darkness of the bag of holding. Shaking my head at my own foolishness, I sit back down by the fire and open the bottle. I wake up to the sound of metal armor clanking and one of my companions screaming in terror. My eyes adjusted to the dim light of a dying campfire, and what I saw drained all the color from my body. It was tall, twice the height of a man, but it was skinny, emaciated, cold blue skin clinging to the misshapen human bones so tightly it appeared skeletal, like a corpse that was left to die of starvation on a snowy mountain peak. Its spine protruded from the skin like spikes. The lower half of its body was disappearing into the bag of holding. Its arms were unnaturally long, with elbows that bent the wrong way. It ended in huge, almost monkey-like hands with black pointed fingernails and multi-jointed fingers. Those hands clasped around Belias. One wrapped around his face like a cloth, smothering him. The other held his arms to his side like coiling snakes. Belias was struggling with all his might, and I knew the man was no weakling but this monster. He didn't even seem to notice his struggles. It had no face that we could see. His entire head was covered in thick, matted black hair that twisted like the knotted branches of the foul woods around us. Its eyes, two glowing pale white dots within the mass of fetid hair, stared at me for a brief moment. Slowly, it dragged Belias into the bag of holding, as if it knew we would not do anything to stop it. And we didn't. We were all frozen in terror. After it pulled Belias into the darkness, that twisted hand reappeared and placed something on Belias's cot before it went back into the darkness. All that it left behind of Belias was a pair of spectacles that he used to read his prayer book. The lenses were cracked.